Hi, this is Mrs. Bustamante. Today we're going to talk about 7.4, which is atmospheric carbon dioxide and particulates. And really, this is talking about how do we get natural sources of air pollution. So we're going to talk about carbon dioxide, right? What are the natural sources of carbon dioxide? What are the normal processes by which we move it through? Respiration, decomposition, volcanic eruptions. And then what are the natural sources of particulate matter? So the first one we're going to talk about when we talk about carbon dioxide is our ocean carbon cycle. And sometimes we forget this, but carbon dioxide actually moves into the oceans. It can hold a ton more carbon dioxide, about 50 times more carbon dioxide than our atmosphere can. And it actually plays an important role when we talk about climate change too, because we see that as the temperatures of the water increase, they can hold less and less carbon dioxide because they're warmer, and so they have less space, less room, I guess you could think of, for that gas to partake in. So that's kind of one of our indicators, but that's sort of a side note here, right? But this exchange of carbon dioxide between the ocean and the atmosphere, right? Things producing carbon dioxide and it moving into the atmosphere, getting processed, even moving further deeper down, or getting released back into the atmosphere. That makes about 40% of our carbon dioxide exchange. 30% of our carbon dioxide exchange comes from this thing we talk about a lot in regular biology class called plant and animal respiration, right? So cellular respiration that both plants and animals do when they take in oxygen, right? And they break down glucose, their food, and they give off this gas, carbon dioxide. And pretty much all organisms that undergo cellular respiration, which is almost everything, right, gives off carbon dioxide, and that's about 30% of the exchange. We also know that carbon dioxide gets processed into the ground, right, in soil decomposition and breaking materials down, right? And some of that carbon dioxide will actually go out into the atmosphere. I guess most of it goes out into the atmosphere, right, and gets released. And that exchange between soil respiration, that soil breathing, even if you will, or things decomposing in it, and giving off carbon dioxide is, again, about 30% of the exchange. We often hear a lot about volcanic eruptions, but they only give off about 0.03% of the carbon dioxide exchange that we see, which is nearly nothing when we think about it, right? But volcanic eruptions are always people's favorite thing to mention when we talk about cellular respiration, or excuse me, carbon dioxide exchange into the atmosphere. So what are some sources of natural particulate matter? Well, sea salt, right, from the ocean. Dust, airborne soil, right? Just things that wind blowing those particles up into the air, introducing them into the atmosphere. Some secondary sulfates can actually be naturally occurring too. Pollen, black carbon from wildfires, right? Because we think about it, wildfires can be natural. We know that sometimes they're man-made, but most of the time they can happen through natural occurrence, and they're going to give off particulate matter. And volcanic ash, all places that we see natural particulate matter enter into our atmosphere.